This is Amelia Clark, and today we're discussing operations management and how it pertains to theme parks. We'll be talking about research questions, operations management, theme parks, different systems for management, and the technology within those parks that allows these operations. To begin, what are our research questions? Research questions are made to help guide what you should be gaining from this video. The questions we'll be focused on answering today are as follows. What is operations management? What do theme parks use operations for? How do theme parks balance operations and the guest experience? What technologies enhance theme park operations? How do theme parks optimize queuing? And finally, what are some operational success factors for theme parks? Whenever we're answering a research question, keep an eye in the bottom left corner for this circle, which will appear when we're actively learning the answer. Okay, let's get right into it. Operations management is everything when you think about it. It's the process that is used to achieve results and the management of those processes. So if you think about a clock, each clock is full of gears, and each gear is used to turn and keep the time. Those gears are steps or processes in any business. It's also known as their operations. As an example, this would be cooking and cleaning being separate processes in a restaurant business. And there's that circle showing we have officially answered our first research question and have an understanding of what operations management is. Now in theme parks, there are a lot of operations. There's food service stands, gift shops, rides, customer service stands, landscaping, and cleanliness. These are especially important in larger amusement parks like Disney and Universal. That is a lot to do, and because of that, there are processes or operations that can help break it down. One of the most important things to keep in mind with theme parks is their strategy. Most theme parks have a geographic divisional structure. This means that the theme parks split up their projects and operations based on physical location. For some parks, that means dividing them into separate zones, like Universal having Jurassic World and Harry Potter in separate areas of the theme park. For others, it could be a larger divide. SeaWorld and Disney have locations around the world, and usually focus their projects by park and then by zone. With this geographic separation in mind, we're going to think about theme parks in a more general term, aka by the park. Now there are 4 areas I want to focus on in this system. The first is the service-scape. This is what the customer will see, feel, and experience. To focus in on theme parks, think about Disney with their themed bathrooms based on the zone you're in. Those are actually processes theme parks go through and create to help keep the guest immersed in the experience and the park. The second is queuing, or process design. When entering a line for something of any sort, customers are entering the queuing process. Now, most parks have learned a few processes that make this easier on the guest, like having wait times displayed and offering unique experiences within the queue. These can be things like scavenger hunts, audio clips, and general atmosphere. There are a lot of things that theme parks must keep in mind with queues though, like space. Theme parks must balance the space available and decide how much should be dedicated to the queue for a ride versus potential food service, restrooms, or other attractions. Oop, looks like we earned a circle by learning what theme parks actually use operations for, as well as how they design that queuing process to optimize guest flow. Our next step is automation or job design. This is used for determining where people need to be and what jobs need to be filled. Does there need to be a mechanic on duty 24/7, or are there smaller shifts where a mechanic would actually be needed? Does this ride need an attendant to help guests load and unload, or can the ride operator fulfill that role as well without an additional person? This is also about determining which processes may be self-service, like a checkout in a gift shop or information on an app instead of asking a physical employee. As an example of one of these operations, Adventureland requires that employees arrive on average 3 hours before the park officially opens. The final step of the process is the people themselves. This is where the theme park actually hires and trains people to fill the necessary roles throughout the park, from operating the rides, general safety procedures, and manning the front of the queues. By breaking down these processes, it's easier to see just how much goes into planning a theme park, let alone keeping one running. Once a theme park is up and running, these operations need to continue smoothly. This can be difficult as there are now customers running around the park. There are a few ways that theme parks are combating this. One way is with technology. There's a lot of technology that goes into a theme park, and more advancements are made every day. Let's take Disney, for example. To smooth their queuing process, they have an interactive app where they can play games to prepare customers for the ride, interact with other future passengers, and collect achievements for exploring the park. They also have Magic Bands, which not only streamline the guest process, but actually make it simpler for a lot of those behind-the-door operations, like seeing real-time exactly where the guests are and what areas of the park will be busy. Now look at that circle. We just learned a few very small implementations theme parks are using technology-wise. Let's think about how theme parks break up these operations and keep them balanced between operating and giving the guests a good experience. Theme parks are primarily made to make money and make consumers happy. Because customer enjoyment is a large indicator of brand presence and future consumers, larger parks have key figures they shoot for in every guest experience. The first is something that Universal noticed. On average, a guest must ride at least 5 rides in their park to have a high satisfaction with their trip. The second is having a unique experience, like catching a performance or running into a character unexpectedly. To measure the park's success as a whole, the main ways they see operational factors are as such: meeting their safety score or goal, which is the most important metric on the operations side, high attendance, the average spending per capita, and that they're making an income. And there is our final circle as we come full circle in understanding what success factors there are for parks and how parks balance operations and guest experience. Because we have answered all of our research questions, that means our time together is coming to an end. We now hold a deeper understanding of what operations take place in a theme park and why. I hope you learned something new, and if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out.